All right. Good afternoon. The record will reflect the presence of counsel, the defendant, and the jury. Mr. Barker, you may call your next witness.
The state recalls Adrian Morales.
Okay. Good afternoon. Mr. Morales, you understand you're still under oath?
Yes, Your Honor.
You may proceed, Mr. Barker.
Thank you. Adrian, before lunch, we had you on the stand. We were asking you some questions that you needed to refer to some notes about. Have you had the opportunity to do that?
I have, yes.
All right. One of the questions asked was about the times or dates, rather, when Mark Gooch visited certain websites. Do you remember that?
Yes, I recall.
So let's first talk about the specific websites. Which websites did you take note of?
Note of the Farmington Police Department Facebook page, the San Juan County Sheriff's Office Facebook page, and the Farmington Police Department Facebook page, specifically the article referencing or requesting information for deceased.
All right, Sasha Krause.
Sasha Krause.
All right, and what dates was he visiting those specific websites?
So the history of search disclosed the 28th of January 2020 and the 29th of January 2020. He searched for the Farmington Police Department Facebook page. On the 2nd of February 2020, he searched the Farmington Facebook page, specifically the missing article of Sasha Krause. And then on the 21st of February 2020, he searched the Farmington Police Department Facebook page article, specifically referencing a $50,000 reward for information leading to Sasha Krause. And on the same day, 21 February 2020, he searched for the San Juan County Sheriff's Office Facebook page.
And when you say searched, can you tell from the phone whether he's typing in Facebook page Farmington, or is he just visiting these websites?
Absolutely. So this is the history of the phone browser. So I can't attest to what he typed, but I know that he visited that page because it says the title of the link that he clicked on that day.
Okay. And then while we're talking about dates, were you able to verify the date that the investigation with OSI began?
Yes. So on 15 April 2020, Coconino County Sheriff's Office coordinated with my office, the Office of Special Investigations Phoenix Division, in reference to this investigation.
All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Griffin.
I have no questions.
Okay. Do any of the jurors have a question for this witness, given his additional testimony before he's excused? All right. Apparently no questions. Mr. Barker, may this witness be excused? You may be excused. You can step down. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Barker, you may call your next witness.
Jose Esparza?
Do you solemnly swear, under penalty of perjury, the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Good afternoon. Are you okay with just taking your mask down while you testify, just while you're sitting there? Are you okay with that? Okay, thank you. You may proceed when ready, Mr. Barker.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Can you state your name for the record, please?
Jose Jesus Esparza Jr.
Do you also go by a Chewy?
Yes.
Okay. And where do you work, sir?
Francis and Sons Carwash, Peoria, Arizona.
All right. Can you do me a favor, pull that microphone up a little closer to you?
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh, I could hear myself now. We're good.
That's what we want. Thank you, sir. I think you said you work at Francis.
Francis and Sons Carwash.
Okay. And what is your position there?
The manager, facility manager.
All right. And what kind of work do you guys do there?
We wash cars and we detail them and oil and lube shop.
All right. Where is it located?
7934 West Thunderbird Road, Peoria, Arizona.
All right. May I approach the witness?
May.
Take a minute, look at that. You recognize,
Yes.
and what is it? What is Exhibit 120?
It is a detail. There was another sheet that describes the work that we did on there, but it's not there. That's just a receipt that I had printed out that day.
Okay, it's a receipt for a car wash.
Correct, yes.
And let me move to admit at this time, Exhibit 120.
Any objection to 120? 120 is admitted.
So, and let me actually, may I publish it?
Yes, you may.
Zoom in a little bit, Jose, so we can see. Let's start with this one here. So this, at the top portion of this receipt here, does it indicate the license plate on it?
That is correct.
All right, and this AEW.
Correct.
This dash AZ, what is that?
Arizona.
All right, is that mean it's Arizona plate?
Yes.
All right, is this something that someone inputs into it?
Yes, I have a service advisor that writes that in there.
Is it possible that could have been wrong?
Correct, yes. If my advisor was in a hurry, he could have put a different, normally there, every plate that they pull up, if they don't go to the page where it says a different state, they leave it alone and it automatically Arizona because we're in Arizona. Correct. Yes. It gives the cashier the cell ID number, and the date and the time, and that is for the customer receipt.
It's February.
Correct.
So this is similar to the other one.
Correct.
But it has a total.
That was a total of 220.
Right. What does $220 get you at the Sun's Car Wash?
For that 220, it does, which is a full service wash, the complete interior, and a wax.
What does the interior mean? What are you doing?
When we do an interior, we shampoo the carpet, doors, dash, console, everything on the interior gets done. Trunk, everything else with it.
Is there any steaming of anything?
Yes, yes.
That includes?
Shampooing, correct.
Okay. Are you taking the chairs out or anything like that? Or
No,
just-
we don't pull the seats out at all, no.
You're just going underneath the chairs?
We vacuum underneath and shampoo underneath and the top and doors, dash, yes.
Is this the top value? Is this the biggest car wash?
No,
All right, I got to stop you. So you wait till Mr. Barker finishes his question, okay?
Okay.
And just and then answer, because
Okay.
you can't talk at the same time.
okay,
Because I'm concerned that the record might not be clear, and also, very importantly, want to make sure the jury hears your responses and Mr. Barker's questions, or
Okay.
if the other, Mr. Griffin questions you, okay?
Got it.
All right, so go ahead, Mr. Barker.
Thank you. Is this I was asking, is this a top value car wash?
You can,
Okay. That's enough time.
I'm back in school again. Yes.
Oh, it is the top value?
No, it's not. No.
Okay, all right. So where does this fit on the scale?
That would be like a mini detail.
The mini detail, is that what you said?
Yes. Yes.
Does it include going into the trunk area?
Yes.
All right, so that's vacuumed out and shampooed and all that.
Yes.
You have a moment, Judge?
yes, you may.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you, Jose.
Thank you, Mr. Griffin.
As well, all right? You were asked about what level this service was. Can you give us the various levels so we can put it in some sort of context?
Well, there's different prices. Depends on what you come in and what you know what you need. If you just want the inside, then it's the inside. If you want the outside, then we do the outside. And
So
then,
if I, as a customer, sir, if I came in and said, I want do you have like a deluxe, a supreme, a regular, standard type things, or do I specifically tell you what I want?
what you know what you want, pretty much.
That's what that other receipt would tell us that you don't have with what you've got today.
Correct.
And that's, that kind of a receipt's issued with every case, is that right? Or with every
Yes.
job that you do? Ramiro was, it looks like employee 8286. Remember Ramiro?
Yes.
Is Ramiro still around?
Yes.
He's the guy that actually did the work and did the intake on this, or what?
He's the service advisor. He's the one that sold him the detail. And
We didn't do the work. I understand.
I'm sorry, how did you answer that last question? I just heard, I wasn't sure if it was was that yes or no to the last question?
which one was it?
Sorry, I just heard, and I'm a little worried that the record's not clear, especially because I looked at Dahlia. So, can you,
Go back.
Please go
So Ramiro would have been the person who took the order, made the sale.
Yes.
Somebody else would have physically done the work.
Yes.
Do you know who that was by looking at this receipt, or can you not tell?
I know who did it, but it's not on the receipt.
Who was that?
His first name is Miguel, but I can't think of his last name.
You still in your employ?
No.
About Ramiro.
Yes.
The 220, is that the price tag for the interior and exterior wash and cleaning?
Yes.
Include any other component?
The trunk?
All right, trunk. Well, I thought that this was a job that involved headlight restoration.
It depends on what special he gave him that day.
Right. Well, doesn't it ring your bell that that there was about $60? Well, let me ask you this: what does it cost normally at Francis and Sons to do a headlight restoration?
$80.
So, do you know, sitting here today, whether the 220 included included headlight restoration or not?
I couldn't tell you that. It's what's on the invoice.
So if there was a 220 bill, if 80 of that was for headlights, would that still be the same level of service as you were outlining for us?
No, because they gave him breaks, like cuts. Depends on what you ask for.
All right. So sitting here today, do you know what breaks or cuts were given in this case?
No, I didn't work that day.
All right. Do you have any information as to whether or not the service included the headlights?
No.
Can I just have a moment?
Yes, you may.
There was headlight work done, restoration work on the headlights. Would that be normally on the bill?
Yes.
Thank you, nothing further.
Mr. Barker?
Just a couple questions, Jose. You said there could be breaks or cuts. Are we talking about special deals?
That's correct.
Okay. And that would be a conversation between whoever's doing the deal and the customer, right?
Correct.
Right. And you don't know if that was a conversation that occurred or not in this case?
Yeah, no, I don't know what they discussed.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have.
All right, do any of the jurors have a question for this witness? All right, so it looks like we may. Counsel, will you approach? I'm going to read you the questions as they're written. Okay, so these are questions the jury has that I'm asking for them. All right? What would your employees do if they confronted blood anywhere in the vehicle?
They were supposed to stop and get the manager over and call the police.
How about a gun?
Same.
Do your employees empty the trunk, or is that done before the vehicle goes to detail?
No, they do it in detail. Everything that they find in there, they put in a bag. And if there's a gun or whatever, then they'll call the manager call the police.
Were items taken out of the trunk in this type of service?
Yes.
There had been tools in the, again, I'm reading it just like it's written. There had been tools in the trunk of Mr. Gooch's trunk. Had all the tools been taken out before the trunk was cleaned?
It should have done, yes.
Can you or someone else provide the itemized bill invoice?
No.
How far is the distance between Luke, I think there's an abbreviation here for Luke Air Force Base, and your place of employment, Carwash?
Fifteen, 20 minutes away.
What is headlight restoration?
Remove the dinginess, the yellow off the front of the lights.
So another question, this is just making a record, counsel, there's another, well, why don't you approach? I think it's just been asked by another juror. And sorry. So I believe this last question, the court just asked in a previous question a few moments ago from a different juror. Okay, all right. Any other questions for the, all right, we've got some more questions. Thank you. Counsel, will you approach, please? So. Dahlia is using the restroom. As soon as she gets back, we'll be back on the official record. All right. Jose, if shampooing and steaming was ordered, which is done first and how long would it take to complete each process?
An interior would take about an hour, hour and a half. Depends on, how they come in.
What temperature is the steaming set at?
That day, I'm not too sure if they even had those heaters on that day.
All right, any other questions from the jury before I turn it over to counsel for follow-up? Okay, apparently not. Mr. Barker?
Thank you. On that last point, what do you mean by heaters?
There's a machine that they turn on. It's called a Ninja, and if you turn on, it boils the water. They throw hot water. But sometimes it depends. Sometimes they don't even use it, because they just use the cleaners, and the cleaners alone are pretty aggressive. That it takes a lot of it out without even using the steamers.
All right. Sometimes they would use a steamer then?
It all depends if there's like saturated oil in it, yeah.
Sure. And as far as the temperature is concerned, clearly steam is going to be hotter than boiling water, right?
Correct.
But do you have any other information about the temperature of the steam?
There's no gauge on those, no.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Griffin.
Thank you. Just a couple of follow-ups, sir. We talked about Ramiro. Before you came here today, did you get a chance to talk to Ramiro about what happened and what he did in this case?
No, I did not.
Do you remember being interviewed by law enforcement? Did somebody from the police come and talk to you about this issue?
If I recall, it's been over a year. I remember, I didn't work that day. I'm off on Sundays and Mondays. 2 weeks later, a detective came in and wanted me to, get some receipts. And I said, well, I go by the plate number, or I would have to call our corporate office. So I think he gave me the plate number. That's how I looked them up. And this is what I pulled up.
And you remember talking to the police about or answering their questions, is that right, to the best of what you remember?
I don't recall anything about this. I think he said he wanted like fraud.
So do you remember speaking to the lawyers about your case within the last couple of months?
No, don't have a lawyer.
No, okay. Like me, do you remember me calling you with Mr. Barker and doing an interview with you?
Oh, yes.
We did that telephonically with you, do you recall?
The conference call,
Yes, sir.
correct.
Do you remember being asked questions during the conference call about your involvement in this issue and more specifically about the headlights?
Yes, but I don't recall the headlights.
Permission to approach her.
Permission granted.
Okay, I remember now.
Does that help you recall that discussion that we had during that conference?
I remember now, yes.
Is there a reference in there about the headlights?
I don't remember the headlights, just the interior.
Transcript to see if it pushes your headlights specifically on. We talked about things like how extensive the job was, that kind of thing, correct?
Yes.
And then on the headlight issue,
The one I quoted for $50?
correct?
Yeah.
All right, so you see that in here on page 7 where it says, and I asked you, that included, the price included $50 for doing the headlights. Does that sound right?
Yes, because it was probably thrown in a package deal. Sometimes we mark it for the headlights, but we don't charge the headlights.
Well, then I asked you, so if you took out the headlight cost, the cost of the job would have been around the 100.
Correct, yes.
Mr. Barker?
Just one moment, Judge, if I could.
I'll stipulate.
But for identification, this appears to be itemized receipt, Francis and Sons Carwash. See that?
Oh, so you have it.
You have it indeed.
Okay.
Is that the license plate number we're talking about here? GW?
2929, yes.
Okay. Now, does this talk about what items were asked to be done?
Correct.
Right. There is, as counsel pointed out, a headlight restoration circle, right? Anything else on the exterior surfaces circle?
No,
Okay, so only the headlight restoration was for exterior, right?
correct.
What about interior surfaces?
Everything on the inside, correct.
All right, that includes, the interior detail.
Complete interior, everything in trunk, everything in the leather conditioner.
What about shampoo,
Yes, that's all there. Upholstery shampoo,
dash doors and console,
correct.
and the carpet?
Yes,
All right. Now, some of these are circled and they give prices, right?
yes.
So the headlight restoration, you said it was going to be $50, but here it says $80.
No, I said they're $80, but
Okay.
he does a package,
Got it. Okay, so the package deal makes it less.
correct.
And so for the interior services, if we were to add that up, what does that make?
That adds up way more than what he paid for,
Way more than $220.
correct.
Okay, so that was part of a package deal.
Yes,
So, if I could get exhibit number.
So you're asking the, you're going to print it out, and you're asking the clerk to, can you send that to my judicial assistant to print it
I will. If I could move to a minute this time as well.
Okay, I stipulate to it.
out? Okay, so 182, the exhibit that's being marked 182 is admitted, and you are granted permission to publish. Not sure, did you want, how do you want to do that right now? We can
I can, Judge,
publish it from your copy there?
can.
Is that all right with you, Mr. Griffin? Okay, permission granted. You're welcome.
This is again 182 for the record. And Jose, let me go to the front page. This is a customer satisfaction inspection. Is that part of that receipt?
if they attached it to that, yes.
All right, who's Paulina?
I have no idea.
Okay. Is that potentially someone who, oh, this is a customer name, so this is maybe attached in as a mistake?
Probably, correct.
All right. But we have here, this is what we were referencing before. This is AGW 2929 license plate number.
That is correct.
Right. And then as we were talking about, there are certain things that are circled here. And as far as exterior services, you indicated that it was just the headlights, right?
That is correct.
All right. And then the rest of this is,
Everything on the interior,
all right. And then the total was what?
220.
All right. That's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Griffin, did you have any follow-up?
Covered. Thank you, no further.
Judge, maybe just for clarity, I would just be moving to admit the itemized receipt, not the certificate with someone named Paulina.
Are you fine with that, Mr. Griffin? All right, so, that's what you approach. Because we had, there, and then an exhibit was admitted. I just want to make sure and confirm, do any of the jurors have any more questions of this witness? Okay, apparently not. All right. So, and then counsel has asked me to go ahead and ask a question that was previously posed by a juror. Bear with me for a second as I look for it. Since it seems you weren't directly involved with this, why did you not get specific details about this sale from Ramiro before testifying today?
I spoke with him yesterday, but he doesn't recall, and he does remember what he sold. So I couldn't, I don't have no paperwork. All we have is just the receipt for what he paid. That's all I have.
Counsel, any follow-up? Mr. Barker, any follow-up?
But now we have the itemized receipt, and that indicates what the services were, right?
Now that I've seen it, yes.
All right, that's all I have.
Mr. Griffin? Nothing, I'm sorry, nothing, wow. Nothing further, did you say?
Oh, nothing further.
Sorry. I know, I feel like maybe the volume went up all of a sudden. All right, Mr. Barker, may this witness be excused.
Yes, thank you.
All right, you may be excused, which means you can step down.
Can I go home?
You can go home. Safe travels. Mr. Barker, you may call your next witness.
Today calls Kemper Kefley.
I don't know what's going on with the microphones, folks. I guess it's good that we can hear. Come on in. I don't know, I think no one's been in here, but it feels like the volume got turned down. Come on up, and if you could face the clerk.
Do you solemnly swear under penalty of perjury the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Go ahead with the bailiff. And if you can get right there, you go, right up to that microphone. Thank you. Mr. Barker, you may proceed.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Can you state your name for the record?
I am Kemper Kefley.
All right. Can you pull that microphone just a little bit closer? Yeah, perfect. And how do you spell Kefley?
It's Koepfle.
All right, thank you. Where do you live?
I live in Glendale, Arizona.
Okay. And what do you do there?
I am stationed at Luke Air Force Base.
And what's your position there?
I'm aerospace ground equipment.
And what does that mean exactly?
I work on the ground equipment for the aircrafts.
Are you a mechanic?
Yes, mechanic.
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
About 2.5 years.
Do you know someone by the name of Mark Gooch?
Yes,
You see him in the court today.
yes.
Can you point out where he's seated and what he's wearing?
Right here with a blue face mask and a blue tie, white shirt.
All right. Let the record reflect the witness identified the defendant.
The record so reflects.
Thank you. How did you meet the defendant?
I met him through work. He was in the same shop as me.
All right. He was also a mechanic with you?
Yes, sir.
In terms of rank, I'm not familiar with how the Air Force works, but where does that fit in ranking? Mechanic level.
I was E3, if that's what you're asking. I'm not sure.
Sure. Do you supervise anybody then?
No.
All right. What are the rankings? How does it work from E what to E?
So it's E1 to E9.
What was your typical work schedule?
It would change depending on the shift, but usually it was from 7 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Monday through?
Monday through Friday, yes, sir.
So a five-day-a-week job.
Yes, sir.
And was that the same for Mark Gooch when you worked with him?
Yes, sir, I believe so.
Okay. Did you live in the dorms back in 2020?
Yes, sir.
And do you recall which building?
Building 546.
All right. That wasn't the same dorm that Mark Gooch lived in, though, right?
No, sir.
Now, back when you knew Mark Gooch, did you guys hang out on occasion?
Yes, sir, we did.
And what types of things were you doing?
We do motorcycle rides, hiking. Occasionally, we would help each other work on bike or truck, whatever.
All right. Did you know what kind of car he drove at the time?
Yes, sir.
What was it?
It was blue Volkswagen Jetta.
Okay. Now, was there a